There were shocking images out of Kolkata today as thousands of students tried to make their way into Nabanna, or the state secretariat. And you can see these images from different parts of Calcutta, the heavy hand of the state coming down upon these students. There were images of tear gas shells and water cannons being deployed on peaceful protesters whose only demand was justice for the 31-year-old junior doctor who was raped and murdered at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital. For a party that came to power on the back of street protests and street agitations like Shingur and Nandigram, the TMC today is wearing the clothes of the oppressive state. And the images of lone protesters along the Howrah Bridge carrying the Indian flag, braving blasting waters and smoky tear gas fumes, these images will be the defining image of this day. These will also be the defining images of these protests, which simply are refusing to die down. The TMC, for its part, says this was a politically motivated protest and that many of these students were not even students in the first place. They were active BJP karyakartas and workers who were undertaking this protest for purely political reasons. Tomorrow, in protest against what happened today at the Howrah Bridge, the BJP has given a 12-hour Bandh call. The question is, why should the heavy hand of the state come down on these protesters in the manner in which it did today? Who or what is it that the Mamata government is trying to protect? But first, the story of what has been an extremely dramatic and tense day in Kolkata.
Situation now really tense out here.
आरजी कर मेडिकल कॉलेज में जिस तरह से एक जघन्य अपराध होता है, ममता बनर्जी बिल्कुल स्पष्टता से एक स्टैंड लेती हैं कि वो आरोपियों के साथ खड़ी रहेंगी, उनको संरक्षण देंगी।
All right, full panel joining us on Brass Tacks tonight. Kanchan Gupta is Senior Advisor to the Information and Broadcasting Ministry of the Central Government. Tuin Sinha, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Riju Datta is National Spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Saira Shah Halim is Leader of the CPIM. Kanchan Gupta, let me start with you first. The TMC is contending that many of these protesters were not students in the first place. They were active BJP karyakartas. They're citing a letter that was written by Shubhendu Adhikari, the leader of the opposition, saying how people should support this protest. They're also citing videos, some videos of BJP karyakartas saying that there should be mass arrests and mass deaths today. So the TMC's contention is, why should there be sympathy for what was politically motivated protests? What is your response to that?
Thank you, Zaka, for inviting me to your show. I just have no words to respond when it comes to, floating fake recordings and fake stories. That is not the way you control a situation where there is an outburst of public anger, of popular anger. Now, for a moment, let's accept that these are all BJP karyakartas, for argument's sake. What does it say about the incumbent government and the party in power? That they did look brutal today, they did look oppressive today, but which state looks oppressive and brutal? A state which is cornered, which is frightened, and which is scared that it is losing ground. It's very easy to just reject the visuals that are coming in and say that these were all organized protests. Ever since the incident happened, every day the streets of Kolkata are full of protesters. These are organic protests. These are protests by people who have now sort of come to believe that things have gone far beyond control of the law and order machinery. And hence they need to demonstrate, they need to protest, they need to get together, band together. And the correct way of dealing with this situation was to have started some sort of a dialogue, but that opportunity is long gone by. Every day some new revelation comes up. This morning's revelation or last night's revelation that the main accused in the case, the main accused as of now in the case, was using a motorcycle that had been registered in the name of the Calcutta police chief. Now, these are documents that are coming out. The veracity of those documents, of course, shall be probed by the investigating team. But the connections and the linkages, and I don't say this simply because it is the TMC at the other end.
Okay.
The connections and linkages of this nature should worry any incumbent government, any incumbent administration. It doesn't speak well about the authority of that government, about the intentions of that government. And lastly, Zaka, to run down these protests doesn't really make sense, and that too by the TMC. The TMC is a creature that was born of street protests.
Yeah.
Mamata Banerjee knows that better than anybody else. Every day on July 21, they observe Martyrs' Day. What is that observation for? What are they commemorating? A rally in 1993, which turned so violent that the same Calcutta police had to open fire? 13 of their karyakartas were killed. And just because they now occupy the seat of power, they say that nobody else can protest.
So they are behaving the way the CPM used to behave back in the 80s and 90s. Dr. Riju Datta, I just want you to look at these pictures, and I'm sure you've seen this through the afternoon. There are lone individuals standing there holding the tricolour, and there are water cannons being hit out at them. There are tear gas shells that are being burst in front of their face. And one of them is wearing saffron clothes. And he is coming up there and looking at the police and saying almost, is that all that you have? How do you, as a spokesperson of a party that basically, rose up from the ground up on the back of street agitations, whether it was what happened in 1993, as Kanchan Gupta was referring to, or whether it was later Shingur and Nandigram, you are now the embodiment of the oppressive state. How do you justify the water cannons and the tear gas shells at lone individuals, even if they are BJP karyakartas, who are standing there and holding the Indian tricolour?
Okay, now let me start off. You are showing images. We all can see those images. I hope, Zaka, you'll give me the courtesy of time because it's 3 against 1 today. So let me start off by showing you some images. This is the first image. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Can you see this image? Yeah. This is a policeman who's broken and beaten. This is another one. See these images. And do you know who took these images? These are images posted by your journalist, Komalika Sengupta from Calcutta. Who will speak about these police people? Somebody before me said that there have been protests that are happening on a daily basis, and I'm absolutely amused how people contradict in one sentence their own selves. Protests are happening every day from 9th August till today. Has there been scenes like this? Then you would have done a show like this every day. No. Why did it happen today? If anybody calls this protest a students' protest, they seriously need an appointment in AIMS for their mental stability and their eyesight. This was not a students' protest. This was a protest that was orchestrated by the BJP, including BJP's hooligans, who wanted dead bodies to create a Bangladesh-like situation in Bengal. And I'm not mincing my words here. They came out on the street looking for dead bodies because they cannot electorally or democratically win in Bengal. They're trying to destabilize an electorally won government. I'm being absolutely honest here. Now, you said that this is all happening, you're trying to be the oppressor. If there are peaceful protests, nobody is hitting or fighting against them. But if a protest where stones are pelted at police, where the protesters are brick batting, where you are burning police vehicles, where you are destroying government and public property, you're breaking a barricade trying to infiltrate into the Secretariat of West Bengal, what do you expect the police to do?
No.
I salute the Bengal police for showing
Wasn't
restraint
Mamata
today.
Banerjee in 1993 also leading a march to Writers' Building when she was famously
Yes.
hit to the
Yes,
ground and
yes.
you know
And
her
that
head
is-
was
yes,
bleeding
yes,
and
sir.
stuff? So today the
sir.
protesters are doing the same thing. They were taking out a march to Nabanna.
Yes, but like you said, and like the gentleman before you said, this is not the left regime. If this would have been the left regime, today there would have been 13 or more dead bodies on the road. The police, I salute the police for showing the restraint they showed today. See, the national flag, and there are very intelligent people on this panel, the national flag has a code. The tricolor has a code. You do not have, the BJP leaders do not have the gumption or the guts to use their own flags because they are become irrelevant or their flag does not hold power. You will use the national flag for a protest like this? You are defaming the national flag.
Hang on. No. The national code was deregularized by an order of the Supreme Court of India. If you remember back in 2012, when people came out on the streets of the national capital, when Nirbhaya happened, they were protesting holding the national flag. When the India Against Corruption movement happened, again at Ramlila Maidan here in Delhi, there were no party flags. They were protesting under the Indian flag.
Zaka,
When the freedom movement was
Zaka,
happening, we
somebody
were
said,
protesting under the flag. So to say that, you know, they should have used BJP flags and not the Indian flag. I mean, what is your point?
No,
I want to bring in the other guests also, but I just want to understand.
Let me just give me 10 seconds.
Dr. Datta, are you today suggesting that the TMC, the party of street agitations, today is speaking for the police and not for the people? The people upon whom these tear gas shells and these water cannons were deployed almost indiscriminately. Today the TMC is not speaking for the people, they are speaking for the police.
No, I am categorically saying that when people say that Bengal has turned into an oppressive state because they have unleashed water cannons, will they say the same thing when the police unleashed water cannons and lathi charged in Badlapur? This is the same thing that happened in Uttar Pradesh. It's the same thing that happened in Assam. In Assam, a gang rape accused, murder accused, died in police custody.
Okay.
Then the state does not become oppressive.
No,
Why?
we have done shows on Badlapur.
This.
We have done shows when cases have come to the fore in Uttar Pradesh, in Hathras or wherever it is. So I don't want this, you know, selective equivalence happening on the show. What happened in Kolkata, what happened in RG Kar, there has to be justice for that victim. There has to be protective measures for the doctors. It's almost unending. Anyway, let me ask Tuin Sinha this. Tuin Sinha, how do you respond to the TMC's charge that there were posts on social media saying that there are BJP or BJP affiliated folks who are orchestrating this? The BJP has been calling for Mamata Banerjee to resign. She has 215 MLAs out of a house of 294. Why should she resign? And why don't you apply the same yardstick where rapes and sexual assaults happen in states which are ruled by the BJP? Today, we had a case in Ratnagiri. You come from Maharashtra, Tuin Sinha. You live and work there. In Ratnagiri, an auto driver has raped a passenger, and this man is still absconding. It's been 48 hours.
You know, I'm absolutely appalled by the vehemence, the brazenness and the shamelessness of the TMC, who seem to be warning today that if the Calcutta police had not done a fantastic job, there would have been more dead bodies. The only person who has played politics over dead bodies in the last 14 years in Kolkata, in Bengal, is Mamata Banerjee, whether it was post-election riots, whether it was the panchayat election killings, and the numerous judgments of the numerous observations of the Calcutta High Court bear testimony to that. Now, anyway, coming to today's violence, if BJP has to stage a protest, we will do it very openly like we are going to do tomorrow. Fact is that this was an out and out people's protest. And why were people protesting? While you may, draw a contrived equivalence with what has happened in Maharashtra, what has happened in Uttar Pradesh, and where not, fact is that this kind of an institutional cover-up is unprecedented in India's history. And let me exactly tell you what I'm saying. Even today, 15 days later, every day we come across some incriminating information. Today's information is that, the victim, the rapist, Sanjay Roy, or the alleged rapist, Sanjay Roy, was using a vehicle which was registered in the name of police commissioner. Is this the legacy of Mamata Banerjee as the Home Minister of Bengal? Why are people outraged? I'm telling you other facts.
Dr. Datta, can you give us a reasonable explanation?
I'm making some very important points over here.
I think it's a fair point. You asked it. I think once again, I'm coming back to you. You asked a legitimate question.
I need 30 seconds.
I think Kanchan also asked this earlier. Dr. Datta, can you give us a conceivable reason why a civic volunteer was using a bike or a scooter registered in the name of the police commissioner? Can you please explain?
Okay. Yes, I will. There was a press conference done by none other than ADG Law and Order, shortly, I don't know whether you've seen it or you missed it, where they have openly said, and I think Kolkata police has put out a tweet also, that it is common practice that every motorbike that is given to SI or ASI rank officers are bought under the name of the Commissioner of Police of Calcutta. Point number one, I'm not finished.
No, but this guy is not SI or ASI.
Can I
He's a
finish,
civic volunteer.
Zaka, please. Zaka, let me finish here. The second point is this bike was assigned to a guy called Ajay, who's an SI of Kolkata police. This bike was seized by Kolkata police and handed over to the CBI. And that guy, Ajay, to whom this bike was assigned to, was called by the CBI 4 days ago and grilled for 11 hours and sent home.
But why was a civic volunteer driving a bike assigned to a sub-inspector registered in the name of the Calcutta Police Commissioner? You don't find that bizarre?
Other questions?
No. That is a bizarre incident, but that Ajay fellow has given that answer to the CBI. Why the CBI has not taken him into custody?
Okay, so your contention is CBI is investigating for the last 15 days. What the hell are they doing? So, Tuin, please respond.
Yes, absolutely.
Sandeep Ghosh, the principal, the former principal of this college. Hear me out, Tuin. TMC's contention is CBI has been questioning Sandeep Ghosh for the last 10 days, every single day, for 10, 12, 15 hours. If they have something on him, why have they not arrested him yet? Tuin.
No, the point is, like incriminating information is coming out every single day. Equally absurd information is coming out about Sandeep Ghosh. What are the charges? 2 days ago, the morgue manager, Tarak Chatterjee, apparently gave an interview to a Bengali channel. What are the allegations against Sandeep Ghosh? That he was carrying a business of illegally plucking out body parts from dead bodies and trading. These are the allegations which are there, and they want an answer from CBI every day. I'm appalled, simply appalled at the shamelessness of this TMC. Do you think that this kind of illegal trade can take place in the heart of Kolkata in RG Kar Hospital without the top brass of TMC knowing it? Why else would they be shielding Sandeep Ghosh? The other charges against him.
No, one second. No crosstalk, please. No crosstalk. Let me go to Saira Shah Halim, please. Let's have Saira Shah Halim on screen. Saira Shah Halim, the Chief Minister, no less, has said that this entire thing, she said this on day one, this entire thing is being orchestrated by VAM and RAM, meaning left on the one side and BJP on the other. She finds this to be entirely politically motivated. The contention of the TMC is within 24 hours, once this case came to light, they arrested the lone accused. For the longest time, both your party and the BJP have been saying, it cannot be done by one person, the nature of the wounds, the kind of grievous injuries the victim suffered. There are multiple people involved. This is a gang rape. turns out now even the CBI is coming around to the view. In fact, it told the court in as many words in the last hearing that it was done by a lone accused, in this case Sanjay Roy, who's been arrested. So every step of the way, and then this whole thing about Sandeep Ghosh, for 10 hours every single day for the last 10 days, they've been questioning him. If the CBI had a watertight case against Sandeep Ghosh and his misdemeanors there in RG Kar College, then why is he not being arrested? So the contention of the Chief Minister and the Trinamool Congress is you and the BJP, political rivals, have joined hands. There's some kind of underhand deal between your two parties just to defame and bring down an elected government. You all can't defeat her electorally, therefore you are resorting to non-electoral means.
Okay, so good evening, Zaka. Firstly, I think this is a very foolish allegation because it is very clear now that Mamata Banerjee needed a diversion, and Bharatiya Janata Party has given that diversion, on a platter. If you look at today's protest, you have protesters climbing over barricades. Okay, some places police had to use tear gas. Apparently, the police had said that no permission was sought for the protest, and the state police has labeled this whole protest as illegal and unauthorized. So if you look at it, if you look at this entire march that happened today, it seems that they were agent provocators who were part of this. And, the TMC definitely wanted diversion. They wanted violence because to delegitimize a very, very peaceful protest, by doctors, by nurses, by civil society, that has been an ongoing process for the last 2 weeks. And just to discredit the movement, she is happily given the BJP an axe to grind. You look at these gundas, right? And these people are, from the unregistered Paschim, Bongo, Chhatra Samaj. And some of them are alleged to be from Sangrami Jutto Mancho. That's a joint platform of struggle. So it's an organization that has affiliations, with the state employees and also with the BJP. So you can, it's quite clear that there is some joint understanding between the BJP and the TMC, and
No, but
particularly the TMC.
what leads you to say, Sarah Shah Halim, that the protests have been delegitimized? If anything at all, it's been further legitimized by the heavy-handed actions of the state.
See, the point is, how do you are deploying more than 6,000 police personnel. You're using tear gases. You are agitating protesters. Okay, the protesters are also, using stones. Okay, and there was a police inspector apparently who got severely injured. So here we have people clambering over barricades. You have people, pulling down barricades and throwing stones at the police. Of course, the police will use tear gas. So obviously, this is a concerted effort from the TMC government to legitimize a very peaceful doctors' movement, civil society movement, students' protest that's been going on for the last two
Okay, so let me
weeks.
ask Kanchan Gupta this: that do you buy this argument that this whole thing now gets delegitimized because this is no longer a non-political or apolitical protest? This is fully politicized by the BJP protesters who were protesting today and the response of the state government led by the TMC, and therefore the protests lose their legitimacy because of that. Kanchan Gupta.
Zaka, if you are referring to politicization in terms of party politics, it was inevitable. It would happen in any other situation too, in any other state too. But there is more to this. These days the personal is political. At least half of the people who are coming out on the streets every day, an 82-year-old doctor the other night was out in the streets protesting. Now, will you say that she is from the CPM or the Congress or the BJP? My young panelist over here, I don't wish to sound patronizing at all, and that's something which I have a distaste for it myself. But I have lived through the late 1960s, the 1970s, 1980s, and it was in 1991 I relocated to Delhi. So I have seen the left front up close, starting from the United Front days. I have seen the CPM from the United Front days. And to say that, I mean, by the nature of today's protest, you can make out these are all gundas, these are all this, these are all that. That's a very unfair thing to say. If I look back, today's scenes look very similar to the food agitation scenes, to the teachers' agitation scenes, and both the movements were led by the CPIM. If I look back, I mean, the famous Maidan rally, which led to the ultimate collapse of the United Front and the birth of Siddharth Shankar Ray's similar oppressive regime. I can recall absolutely similar scenes, and they were much more violent. They were much more violent. There was much more bloodletting. At least today, I mean, even if we are suggesting that there was any violence by the protesters, it was reactive. It was not proactive violence.
Okay.
But those rallies by the CPM were all proactive violence. Now, the larger point here, the TMC person said that there are 3 persons against him. I am against nobody. I am for the people of Bengal. As a Bengali, as an Indian, I am for the people of Bengal. And I think the people of Bengal deserve much, much better than what they have been getting ever since 1977.
They certainly deserve much better than what they've been getting since the 9th of August in what was clearly an organic, people-driven protest. And I still believe it is, by and large, driven by the people, driven by doctors, students and lawyers. Unfortunately, neither has the victim got justice, nor are the demands of the doctors for better protection being met. We'll see how the next 12 hours plays out, because it's going to be a full-fledged Bandh that's been called for by the BJP. How they respond and how the state responds to that, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you very much in the meanwhile for joining us. We will keep an eye out very closely on the developments there in Kolkata.